everybody, my name is Kaylee and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So before we get into today's story time, I wanted to talk to you guys for a little bit. I pretty much just wanted to know if you guys did anything fun today on Memorial Day. I went to my apartment complex's pool and I had a few other things to take care of today because my boyfriend and I are currently in the middle of moving out of this current apartment, which thank God, because this place is filled with the worst type of people. I'm gonna try to keep the swearing to a minimum in this video, but at the same time, the story time just made me so angry. So yeah. Alright, so before we get into today's story time, the story time was sent in by an anonymous user. I will be looking in this direction most of the video because my mirror is over here and I would like to see what I am putting on my face and where it is going. By the way, I have new merch that's out, so if you want to click the link down below in the description, you can go check that out. But without further ado, let's get into this story time. Alright, so story time about my extremely toxic best friend. It is terrible how many of these story times I get in because it just shows me all the different ways that people can be extremely toxic and it's disgusting. So a little background information. When I was in 6th grade, my mom had signed me up for this summer camp. Well, a few weeks into summer camp, I had met my best friend and we're gonna call her Jenna. Now, when I had first met her, Jenna was a super nice, down-to-earth girl, I guess for being in 6th grade at the time. But seriously, she was really nice. Like, she was the type of girl that when she saw somebody getting picked on, she would step in right away and totally just bash the person who is bullying somebody. So that was one of the things that I really liked about her. Guys, I might be back after I do my eyebrows because I don't think this is gonna work on camera. You know, I tried every time and then we get to this part where I'm shaping them out and it just doesn't not freaking work. Like, does that even look good? Like, sis, what are you doing with your life? All right, I'll be back after I do my eyebrows. Okay, so I got a little carried away with my eyebrows and I tried to do them how like the IG models do them now. What do y'all think? Anyways, overall, she was just really a nice, genuine person. Well, fast forward, we're in 8th grade and we got to become like mini camp counselors. So pretty much meaning we would just follow the big kids around and kind of, you know, boss the little kids around whenever they weren't listening to the big kids. Well, there was also another mini camp counselor that I liked. We're gonna call him Brian. Now, we were all only in 7th grade, but I had a little crush on him. So what do? I tell Jenna that I have a crush on him because, you know, she's my best friend. And Jenna says that she has a crush on him too. Like, sis, I'm sure. And at this camp, we had like a bus that would take us home, right? Well, we all had assigned seats on the bus. And we're all about to leave. It's like the last day of camp, I'm pretty sure. And Jenna decides to say that I smell weird. Yeah. So she calls one of the other camp counselors up to the back of the bus because we were sitting in the back. And she goes, hey, like, she really smells. Can I switch my seat? Like, really, dude? Like, so the camp counselor's like, well, I don't smell anything, but if you want to move, you can. And they were like, just go pick a seat. Where did she go pick a seat? Next to the mini camp counselor that I had a crush on. Like, what a jerk. Like, first, you pretty much say out loud in front of everybody that I smell on the bus, and then you go sit next to the guy that I told you I had a crush on. But that did not stop me from being best friends with her. So that's whenever I kind of realized that she was a hoe. The good thing is that her and I, we didn't go to the same school, so any guy that I liked at my school, I could pretty much just tell her about it and she would never know who it was. We lived 20 minutes away from each other, but she went to a private school, I went to a public school, so it pretty much worked out in my favor. Well, fast forward, I am a sophomore in high school and I get a boyfriend. Now, I tell her all about him because, like I said, they really never had a chance of meeting. I mean, they did, but like, it's not like he had a sign on his forehead saying that he was my boyfriend. So, you know, she's like, OMG, like, I really want to meet him, blah, 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 blah. Well, it was football season during the time, so I told her that we could go to one of his football games. Quick thing, before this, I had never had a boyfriend, so I knew that she was a hoe, but I also didn't think that she would go after my boyfriend if I had one. So like I said yeah, and before the football game, I'm getting ready at my house and we're about to go pick her up. And the football game was Hawaiian themed, so I had asked her, what are you gonna wear for tonight? She tells me that she has one of her dad's like Hawaiian button-up shirts that she's gonna wear and a pair of jean shorts, which I was like, okay, sounds good, you know, I'll just wear the same thing. So we are pulling up to her house to go and get her. Well, when we pull up, this bitch walks out in a hula bra with her makeup done, her hair done, and this little mini skirt. So, you know, she gets in the car and we're driving and I'm texting her and I'm like, what happened to the outfit that you said you were gonna wear? Her response was, well, last minute I realized that this will be my first time meeting people in your school and I want to look presentable. Really, sis? Really? Clearly I knew that she was lying because nobody just has a fucking hula bra sitting around their house. And her mom had left for work at 4 and the game started at 7. So she had to went and got that before her mom left for work because she doesn't have a freaking driver's license. So yeah, she decided to do that. And the thing is that I always like went out for football games, you know, meaning I would put on like a really cool outfit, you know, to show some school spirit. So the only reason that I had wore that was because I didn't want her to feel awkward or lonely. So I was trying to be nice. By the way, I wore one of my freaking dad's button-up shirts and a pair of jean shorts because my dad had like a bunch of Hawaiian shirts from when we would go on vacation as like souvenirs. So like I said, I'm sitting there in this oversized ugly ass shirt and she's just looking cute in front of everybody. And then she asked me, OMG, like which one's your boyfriend? Because I had never even showed her a picture of my boyfriend. Like it got to the point where she thought I was lying about having a boyfriend because I would never show her a picture or anything. Like I was not risking it. So I really didn't want to tell her which one was my boyfriend because I already had a feeling that with everything that already happened throughout the night, she was just gonna be a hoe, even if it was my boyfriend or not. So she kept asking me which one he was and I'm like, I don't know, I can't see him right now, I don't have my glasses on. I did need glasses. So she was like, oh, okay. But then she made this fucking annoying ass comment that made me want to smack her. She goes, how do you not know your boyfriend's number? She was like, if that was my boyfriend, I would know his number by heart and I would be writing it on me every time that I went to a game. Like, yeah, sis, I do. Just not whenever you're with me. Low-key, I had contacts in, I just didn't tell her. So while she was mingling with people who were at the game, I was sitting there and I was just watching my boyfriend. Eventually she comes over to me and she's like, OMG, you won't believe how many guys gave me their phone number, blah 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 blah. Like we should start coming to your football games together more often. Even though I'm literally thinking to myself how bad of an idea this was and how I wish I would have never brought her. You know those times when you just know you made a mistake but you don't know until it's last minute? Yeah, this was one of those times. So I'm sitting there and I tell her, oh, like my mom's about to be here, we have to leave early, we can't stay. And she's like, oh, like are you sure? I can have my mom come and pick us up. I really want to see which one's your boyfriend. Which is just making me really pissed off at this point. So I just tell her that next time we come to the game we'll be able to stay later, but my brother has surgery in the morning so we have to leave early. No, my brother did not have surgery. Does that make me a bad person for saying it though? No. Girl was trying to steal my man. Bye, sis. So that's the end of that situation. And by the way, I never took her to another football game. She would actually just show up on her own to my school. She would actually just meet up with people that she met at the first football game and she would run into me and be like, OMG, I thought you weren't coming. Well, the one night I actually did not go to the football game because my mom needed me to watch my little brother. And while I'm watching him that night, I get a text from Jenna saying, OMG, I met your boyfriend. Yup. Yeah. And then I just get like a bunch of text messages after that one saying, why didn't you tell me? Like, he's so cute. I'm so happy for you. I talked to him for about like 20 minutes after the game. She was like, sorry, LOL. I just thought you were lying the whole time about having a boyfriend. But yeah, so apparently when she went to the game, she had started talking to a few guys that were actually his friends. And they had said that they had saw her with me at the first football game. And she was like, oh yeah, that's my best friend. And they were like, oh yeah, like she's dating my best friend too. And then after, they pretty much tell her who my boyfriend is and stuff like that, and they point him out to her. So yeah, she ended up finding out who my boyfriend was. I was super pissed off about it, but what could I do? Nothing. So I get a bunch of FaceTime calls and stuff the next morning. I'm not really feeling like talking to her because of the fact that I know the conversation is going to be all about my boyfriend. So I think like the day after, I hang out with my boyfriend and I'm like asking him like, oh, what did she say? Blah, 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 blah. He was like, to be honest, she's really weird and she was hitting on all of my friends. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, thank God she made an ass out of herself. Now he won't want to get with her, right? Wrong. Keep up with it, people. So a few months goes by, football season ended, so she really didn't have a reason to go to my school anymore or talk to the people who went to my school. And she would always ask to hang out with me and my boyfriend, but I always told her no, and that he thought she was a weird ass bitch. Well, summertime rolls around. And one of my boyfriend's friends is throwing a 4th of July party. So he asked me if I want to come. Of course I say yes. And then he also says, if you want to bring your best friend, you can. I'm so dumb. Still have to do my nose contour. So I give her the benefit of the doubt and I tell her about this party, but I tell her that her and I have to leave early because the kid's parents doesn't know that he's throwing a party. And I really didn't want to get caught for underage drinking because his neighbors were supposed to be keeping an eye on the house. So she says okay, and by the way, a little incident that had happened, you know how I told you that like whenever we would go out places and like, you know, I would ask what she's wearing? Well, I decided to see if like, you know, it was all in my head or she was actually just being a dick every time that she told me that she was gonna wear something. So the one time we had went out and we didn't go with my boyfriend or anything like that, you know, so I wasn't really worried about impressing anybody. But I had asked her what she was wearing and she said that she was wearing a dress and heels. So I decided not to wear a dress and heels. I decided to go in a t-shirt and some running shorts. And we went to this place and everybody turned out to be dressed up nice. So I really didn't give a fuck about what she wore anymore. I would still ask her, but I would just wear what I wanted to wear. Well, the night of the party, I decided that I wasn't even gonna ask her. I'm just gonna do my own thing and then my boyfriend will come and pick us up. And I would usually ask her what she's wearing like maybe an hour or 30 minutes before something started or before we were about to go somewhere. Well, once she realized that I hadn't asked her, she FaceTimed me and she's like, oh, what are you wearing? So I just told her that I was gonna wear shorts and a t-shirt, like it's nothing serious. If anything, we're gonna be getting muddy and stuff like that because my boyfriend's friend, he like had a whole field in the back of his yard and they would ride their dirt bikes and stuff like that. And he also had this above ground pool that everybody went in usually. So I just told her, bring a bathing suit because he has a pool there. And she was like, oh, so you think I probably shouldn't do my makeup? I was like, I mean, you can, but it's like 95 degrees outside. But do what you want, sis. Do what you want. So she's like, okay, thanks. Like, you know, just let me know whenever you guys are on your way. My boyfriend at the time had his license, so he was the one who was going to be coming and picking us up. So I'm all ready. I'm in my shorts, t-shirts, some tennis shoes, and I call my boyfriend and ask him where he is. And he was like, oh, well, like, I was just thinking I was going to pick up your friend first because she lives closer to me. Like, really? So what does he do? He goes and he picks up my best friend first. Fucking Jenna. I just like hate Jenna, but I didn't want to seem like a jealous, insecure girlfriend. So what did I do? I just told him to go and pick Jenna up first. Well, they pull up to my house and when I walk outside to the car, I realized that Jenna decided to take the front seat. next to my boyfriend. So like I said, I about had it with this bitch. So I walked up to the door, ripped open the door, and I was like, sit in the back. And she's just like looking at me like, oh, like what's wrong? Like, I'm sorry. So, you know, this girl's pretending that she's gonna get in the back seat whenever she says, wait, do I really have to? You know I hate the back seat. This was the first time that I had heard that she hated riding in the back seat. Also, she's wearing this tiny ass dress. She has a full face of makeup on. Her hair is all curled. It's like she wanted me to drag her out of that car. So what do I decide to do in this situation? I decide that I'm going to let her have the front seat. I won't be surprised if I go blind one day doing this. And the whole ride there, she's just chatting away to my boyfriend. And my boyfriend's trying to include me in the conversation, but every time that he would, you know, like say my name or something like that, she would interrupt him and be like, OMG, that's crazy because this blah, 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 blah happened to me, you know, like, and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, bro, shut up. Like, for real, Jenna, fucking annoying. So we get there at around 8, and the plan was for my friend and I to leave at around 1 in the morning because my boyfriend was just going to spend the night and help his friend clean up in the morning. So, you know, during the party, I'm playing Pong with my boyfriend and his friends, and Jenna's just following my boyfriend and I around everywhere. And then when I told her to go talk to people, she was like, you know I'm shy. Whew, had to do my eyeliner off camera. Yeah, so she goes, you know I'm shy. No, you're not. You literally went to every single football game. You didn't need me, and you were talking to my boyfriend all in the car. So the party's dying down. It comes time to leave, and I tell Jenna, I'm like, hey Jenna, like my mom's waiting outside, like let's go. Well, Jenna decides that she doesn't want to leave the party. And my mom had already drove all the way out there, so she was going to be pissed if I told her that I was staying longer or that she had to go back home because she came out here for no reason. So I'm telling her, I'm like, Jenna, we can't stay longer. Like, we gotta go, sis. Mind you, do you remember what I said earlier? My boyfriend was supposed to spend the night there. Well, that got brought up in the car because Jenna had said, are you dropping us off at our houses too after? And he goes, no, I'm spending the night there. So yeah, no, she already knew that he was going to be spending the night. And she goes, you can't make me leave. Like, I'm staying. And I was like, but I thought you were shy. Why would you want to be around all these people that you don't know? She was like, well, I'm not shy anymore. I got used to everybody. Whatever, sis. So I say fuck it. I leave her there and I go home. So at around 3 in the morning, I'm sitting on the couch watching TV. I couldn't go to sleep yet because I was just so annoyed about the whole situation. And I get a FaceTime call from one of my other girlfriends, and she says that Jenna's freaking out. She took a hit off of the blunt. Like, will you please call her and calm her down? So I call her and I'm like, hey, you know, like you're fine. It doesn't last forever, blah, 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 you know, whatever you do in that situation. And I get off the phone. Well, she ends up spending the night there. Well, I end up going back there early in the morning because I forgot my purse. And when I walk in, I'm looking for Jenna because she's the one who had put our bag in some room. So I'm like checking all over the house for her and my boyfriend. And it's like 7 in the morning, I'm pretty sure. Because everybody like fell asleep in the living room. He had this big ass couch in the living room, you know, a few ottomans, a few love sacks everywhere, and I'm just like thinking, where could they be? So I'm going through the house, I'm searching through all the rooms, and I already have a bad feeling about this. So like 20 minutes goes past, I can't find them. My mom has to go because my brother's waiting in the car and she has to drop him off to school. So we leave, we take my brother to school, and then I ask her if we can stop back one more time so that way I could try and find my purse again. Tell me why, as soon as I walk in the house, I go to the kitchen and like everybody's like standing around the island or whatever. My boyfriend has his arm around Jenna and his neck is filled with hickeys. So I walk in unfazed and I'm like, Jenna, where the fuck is my purse? She's like, OMG, like I'm so sorry, like it's like on the couch. And I'm like, can you help me find it? So she comes in the living room to help me find my purse. And when we walk in there, I just tell her that she's a whore and that we can't be friends anymore. And she's like, OMG, why? And I'm like, dude, there's literally hickeys all over my boyfriend's neck. He has his arm around you. Like, there need to be boundaries whenever I let you hang out with my boyfriend. So she goes, those hickeys aren't for me, like what are you talking about? And then I call my boyfriend into the living room, and everybody's low-key listening. Nobody just decides to come in the living room though. And I'm asking him, I'm like, who the fuck are those hickeys from? And he just looks at Jenna. So I end up walking out of the house. I break up with him. I block Jenna on Snapchat and everything like that. I block him. And to this day, this bitch still shows up at every single football game. I unblocked my ex-boyfriend a few months later, and she's always hanging out with him and his friends. So yeah, so just a little advice, guys, don't be afraid to set boundaries. At least that way you know that you set them, so that way you won't blame yourself whenever a dumbass people decide to fuck you over. Alright everybody, that is the end of this story time. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of me, hit that subscribe button. I have been posting videos every Monday and Friday. If you want to know when I post, click that bell, and I will see you guys on Friday. Love you.